Hey guys, welcome back at the shop. So this video is going to be sort of a nice little conversational type video, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Stay tuned to the end. Got some exciting news, but I just wanted to talk a little bit about this channel, what I'm doing, what I'm trying to do, or what I'm thinking about doing. And I don't know exactly how much of that comes through on a typical video that I make when I'm just doing a particular build video. And so I wanted to provide a little more of a 3D, I guess, sort of understanding of what's behind the channel here and where we're going, all that kind of stuff. So that's sort of the purpose behind it. So the title of the video, what the problem with YouTube in 2023. And for me, the problem with YouTube, which has always been the problem with YouTube, is figuring out how to juggle sort of the difference between creating a video that I think will get a lot of views, but still is within the realm of what I do and what I want to do, and the contrast between that and putting out a lot of content. And I've mentioned this dilemma or conundrum on the channel in the past, and I'm sure countless other YouTubers have done the same thing. The reason why it's sort of a dilemma is because I don't do YouTube exclusively. This is one of the facets of a multi-part effort here in the shop that currently is just me. And so I do YouTube videos, but I also make knives and axes and stuff to sell. And in the past, I've taken custom orders and work those through the system, through the shop. And then I'm actually getting ready to open the books up for a few spots, and that'll be a future video. So I do a bunch of different things here, around this trade, around this craft, YouTube being just one of them. And so it's important to me how I spend my time. And in the early days of the channel, I did spend quite a bit of time making videos, and I didn't really get anything for it. And I understood that was what you have to do to build a channel. Everybody who's done YouTube understands that. Any business for that matter. And I'll get to that in a minute. There's a lot of work that goes into a business of any kind that you might not see a return on, or a nice return on, if you will, something that's comparable to your efforts for some time. And that's just the nature of being self-employed and starting a business. So I've always understood that. But the flip side of that is, okay, well, I do need to, make money and feed my wife and kids. And so, how is my time best spent? And then secondly, how can I invest in future things for the business? And so balancing that has always been a challenge. This last year we saw tremendous growth on the YouTube channel here compared to previous years. And this is I've been doing this for I think since 2016 is when I first started doing YouTube, and then really hitting it hard for about 3 years, I think 4 years now. And so, maybe that's about right. It just doesn't happen overnight. So, that was encouraging, and we're almost to 100,000 subscribers now. And I honestly thought we were going to coast into that for whatever reason, right about 90,000 subscribers. It just took a nosedive, slowed down. And that's kind of the other part of the dilemma, is that YouTube, with their algorithm and the advertisers that are on the platform, those are the ones that actually create the income for creators, trying to sell you product with their ads. That's how I can get paid for my time making the content that you watch, and same with everybody else. And so that is always in flux, and that can be directly related to the general economy. I've seen that. And so it's, I think maybe once you get to a certain mass, or like critical mass on a YouTube channel, maybe that sort of evens out, and you don't really have to worry about that as much. Like maybe your slow months are still okay, and then your good months are a bonus kind of a thing. But again, YouTube being just one facet of the entire part of the business here, I don't have to rely solely on that, and that's a good thing. That's been a good thing. So the dilemma is like, how do you handle it? So anyway, I guess my answer is what I've always kind of come back to, is like, I'll just make more content. That's just kind of the answer. You just do it all if you can. I had a little little poll I did a couple days ago asking if you guys wanted to see more like stuff like detailed, longer, in-depth projects, multi-part series even, versus, you know, shorter videos just about general shop stuff and things like that. And we've had a really good response on that poll, and it's about 2/3 of you guys want to see the cool, detailed, multi-part series projects. And so what did I do? I followed up with a general shop video making forge doors. That's a little greasy. I've had this coat since I was a kid, and it's probably about time to switch it out. But and then on that video it shows that I lost 4 subscribers, so I guess that's what I get for going against the poll. But here's the thing, it's like it's not a matter of whether I'm going to do that stuff or not. It's a matter of whether I'm going to turn the camera on and then take the footage and then, you know, move the tripod around and then edit the footage and upload it and all that kind of stuff. And so I put that poll up there, and you guys responded. But then I'm like, well, I'm going to do this anyway. You know, I've kind of gotten used to putting the camera up every time I'm doing something relevant to a new shot. Why not? I'll just do it anyway. Like, I know this isn't going to get a super huge amount of views, but it's content. And, you know, when it comes to the algorithm, there is a thing with the amount of content that you upload. That does not replace good content. You can't just upload a bunch of crummy content and necessarily expect things to go well on the YouTube channel. You have to have good content, but, you know, the amount of content that you put up also matters as well. And I don't understand the YouTube algorithm fully by any means. I haven't really even looked at it in a while. You know, you hear about different like little tricks you can do and things that you can fool the algorithm. You know, none of that stuff. I've never experienced that being worth much. The only thing I've really experienced is trying to make interesting content that people want to watch, and that's on sort of a sliding scale, you know, like. And so the last video that I did about the forge doors, you know, less people in general are going to want to watch that video, but it is content, and overall it adds value to the channel, I believe. So it's a little chilly out here. Finally got some winter here in West Texas. It seems to come about 3 months late, but it does arrive eventually, and sticks around for a couple months. So it's a little chilly, but it'll be all right. So that's the conundrum on the YouTube channel, and it's nothing exciting, but I guess my answer is just to try to do more content, and then, you know, both. So I've got plenty of ideas for great projects, and I think doing them in a multi-part series, I'm a little apprehensive about that, honestly. I don't know if that's going to get as good of views per video as, you know, as a one-piece video, but we'll see. One thing that I am hesitant to do is to make promises, or, you know, saying, this is what we're going to do on the channel, or in any other thing too, I guess, when it comes to this whole thing, because, and we've all done this, but there's been times like, this is what we're going to do, and then you either figure out that it wasn't really that great of an idea, or you don't really have the time that you thought you would have, or something comes up and that kind of thing. So I'm not going to say that I'm going to do this much, you know, these many videos, or this particular kind of video. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to try to, you know, do what I want to do, and then you guys will see the results and benefit from that. So I'm not going to make promises, because I don't want to, you know, disappoint or, you know, overstep, you know, my understanding of my own abilities in the future here, moving forward, and the stuff that might come up. So all I have to say, I have some personal goals on the channel, and that just in general is more content of all sorts that is good on the channel here. Good stuff you guys want to watch, and that's all I'm going to say about that. So those are some of the thoughts that have been bouncing around in my head about the whole thing, and maybe that's nothing new. But I guess the reason I'm doing this video, one, is to provide some content. Secondly, there's been a sort of a faithful cadre of, is that the right word, of guys here on the channel who regularly comment, and I request or ask you guys to comment and like the video every video, just asking for the support. And you know who you are. There is a group that is pretty regular and faithful on the videos, and I really appreciate that. I appreciate the support on the channel. My understanding is that you know, that helps the channel and helps get it out to more viewers and continues to grow it. And you know, at the end of the day, you know, it's on some level you have to follow the money. Okay, I am doing this for money. This is my job, and so if I can't make any money doing YouTube, well, then I can't spend nearly as much time doing it. And that's not a descriptive statement, because the YouTube channel has started to be some, you know, kind of promising about the potential here over this last year. So that's been really encouraging. But it doesn't, you know, it goes up and down, and you have to have multiple different things going on. So, but all that to say, you know, you can't spend a bunch of time on something that's not, you know, putting food on the table, at least in my case. So the support is definitely appreciated. Tell you guys out there. And on that note, shorts. So I've had a couple people, you know, mention their displeasure about the short videos, and that's sort of a whole nother. I don't know. I wish YouTube hadn't done that, but apparently, from what I've been seeing, short videos and I guess also live streams are something that they're promoting more. Not necessarily instead of long form content, but like if you don't have those on your channel, apparently that's a detriment to your channel's algorithm, which is unfortunate because, you know, I don't know, it's a different format. It's kind of hard to make a good short video. It's something you have to learn, I guess, but it's not really something that I wanted to delve into so much. I've done a few short videos, and most of them, you know, the most views that some of them have got is like 5,000 views or 6,000 or something like that. One, you know, a couple have gotten a few more, but for me, it's hard to put a lot of value into a 60-second video. And I've done a few where I've tried to do that, and you know, it's very short little snippets. So I don't know, is it worth my time doing that? If it's going to help the overall trajectory of the channel, then I suppose maybe it is. But the jury's still out on that. I don't really know. I just want to do good content, and that's what I'm gonna keep trying to do. So that's kind of enough about the YouTube channel, the technicalities of creating content. Some of the things that I have planned for the channel, and again, I don't want to overspeak on this because, you know, sometimes I have ideas for projects and then they don't happen for a long time, or maybe I just don't do them at all. I do something else that I think is a better use of my time. One of the things that you're going to see on here is I did get an Induction Forge, and so I'm excited to get that on the channel here. That should be some decent content. And using that, I've got a couple different reasons that I purchased it. And the first one is I want to do stainless steel stainless steel clad blades, right? So the forge welding temperature on the stainless steel with a high carbon steel in the center is significantly higher than your just your high carbon steel. And you know, I was thinking about building a ribbon burner forge. The reason I went with an induction forge is because something else that I'm interested in doing is doing some crucible steel. And for that, you can either build a giant, you know, charcoal type forge or something like that. But then I ran across a video with Bob, what's his name? The chef knife builder, Master Smith. I can't remember his name now. He's in Washington State. Anyway, he uses an induction forge to create crucible steel. Essentially, he makes from the basic components, you know, iron powder, carbon. I guess that's kind of it. Or put some manganese in there too, I guess. And then he forges that billet out, and he makes some pattern welded Damascus steel with that and some of his blades. Bob Kramer. So I was like, wow, that's pretty great. That's, you know, that's a couple of great reasons to get an induction forge. And I've got a buddy that he's got one. He really likes it. He's not melting steel, but it will melt steel. So I made sure to get one that'll get hot enough, and I'm pretty excited to get that going. And therein lies part of the conundrum, because this is kind of annoying right here. Part of the conundrum, because I've got that Rockwell tester that I haven't even gotten to yet. I've been busy making product, trying to, you know, keep things going here. So it's a slow process. And anyway, there's a couple things that will be forthcoming on the channel. I'm excited to do that. And I've got plenty of project ideas, and I've said that before. We've done some of them. There's a bunch more to do. So I appreciate you guys sticking around and watching the content. Let's see, what else to talk about? Well, on top of that, big news, we are actually going to be moving back to Idaho this spring. And that's a big that's a big chore. You know, somebody mentioned in a recent video, like, I need to clean my shop. Well, yes, I do need to clean my shop, but I also need to have less stuff in it. So I have equipment that's not even in here because there's no room for it. And currently there's no room really to move around, hardly to speak of. I have some things on wheels that, you know, carts that move around, and that's very helpful, but there's just not room. So that'll be forthcoming. I don't know how much I'm gonna you know, show that per se, but I got to pack this whole thing up and truck it up halfway across the country, as well as the whole household. So my wife and I are starting on you know, the preliminary stuff to get the house sold, and, you know, projects with that. And yeah, it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff. So we are perpetually busy, it seems like. We're at the stage in life where we have smaller children and raising a family and making a living, you know, and taking care of everything. So I know a lot of you guys are in that same position. Some of you guys are past that stage in life and have been there, done that. So when it comes to businesses, and this is not really related to per se anything we've talked about yet, but when it comes to businesses, just the entrepreneurial side of things, you know, that's been a journey learning all of that too. And you know, how to make and sell product, and how to find and build a market and all that kind of stuff. That's been a big part of this whole journey. And you know, it hasn't come easy, which if you've started a business or been part of a small business, you're probably very familiar with that. But this last year, I think I mentioned it with the YouTube channel, but this last year has been encouraging. And this will be, we passed the 5-year mark where this has been my full-time job. And I was doing it before that, but this has been my full-time job for 5 years. And we, you know, yeah, it's just encouraging that it feels like we're getting over the hump, you know. And they say, or what I've heard is that it takes 5 years for a business to make a profit. And that's kind of speaking to where you start with like a business loan or something like that, and you're operating on outside capital and that kind of stuff, which is not at all the model that I have used, and probably most bladesmiths like myself do either, because it had to make a profit from day one to feed the family. And yeah, you know, sometimes it's been tight, and, you know, I've done some other work and things like that. And my lovely wife has supported this because we both have a mutual vision moving forward, and it's been overall been good. And I feel like the work is starting to pay off. The hard work is starting to pay off. And so yeah, so it's the 5-year thing. Like I said, you know, there wasn't an option to not make a profit from the beginning. But as far as like getting to a point where it's like, okay, you know, what's the next stage look like? And so, that brings me to the other thought. See, I figured if I just start talking about this stuff, the train of thought would go in the right direction sometimes. So that brings me to the next thing is like, okay, so what does the next stage look like? And quite frankly, the next stage, really to kind of grow to the next stage, I do need to hire somebody, because I can't do it all by myself. And as I've mentioned, there's multiple facets to this business that if any one of those were capitalized on by themselves, you could probably make a full-time job just out of that if you focused on it. You know, it might take a little bit to get up to full speed to make a decent living, that kind of thing. But, you know, there's the opportunities are there that we've been working on. So to be able to do that and grow to the next level, I am cognizant of the fact that we need to bring somebody on. And you know, that's also not something that I'm going to rush into because, you know, that's a big responsibility, providing work for somebody. You know, suddenly you've got somebody else depending on you and what you're doing in that business. And so that's a big deal. So it's not something I'm going to take lightly or rush into. You know, but at the same time, that opportunity is there. I guess one way to say it is like, I think I could keep somebody busy part-time all the time right now. And then, you know, once you can start creating some more momentum at that level, it allows you to start moving up to another level. So that's definitely the direction that everything's going. So that's encouraging. And I've actually had conversations with a couple people about just the idea. And I don't know, we'll see what happens. Obviously, first of all, we have to get moved. We have to get resituated. And I'm not even going to entertain the idea, you know, before that, and not this year, I don't think anyways. But that's just something to think about on my side. And I mean, everybody, you guys watching this, y'all are a part of this because this is all, you know, your support, just watching the video and being a part of that in that small way, it all adds up, and it's all, I mean, I appreciate all of it. So, you know, some of you guys watching have purchased product, you know, blades or knives or axes, and it just all makes a big difference altogether. So I just wanted to share a little bit about where everything's going or where I see it going. And again, like I say, nothing's set in stone, and I don't want to make promises or like, oh, this is exactly what we're doing, because you don't always know that. But that's the direction we're heading. And yeah, I guess a little bit about, yeah, so what else? I don't know. Every time it cools down, I can't help myself. I got to make a puko. I got to make a Scandinavian style knife. I don't necessarily do the Scandi grind, but I don't know what it is about it, but it's, you know, the winter, like the North Woods, and that's just that whole thing. You know, we're excited to get back to Idaho. You know, just to provide the kind of life and you know, childhood and stuff for our children, and just the different things that we really want to do. And we're really excited to be able to do that, you know, with the opportunity that opened up here. And you know, we've enjoyed our time in Texas. Met a lot of great people. Honestly, to be honest, you know, basically what we've done down here is kept our nose to the grindstone and worked hard, and you know, by God's grace, you know, seen it paying off. You know, I haven't really gotten too involved, you know, in the community and that kind of stuff, and you know, you kind of feel a little bit bad about that. But you know, the reason we moved down here is to grow in our businesses and have the residents, the housing or the facility, whatever you want to call it, to do what we're trying to do, and it's been a blessing. So we're excited to move on to the next stage and see what that holds. And it's going to be good. We're excited. But yeah, I mean, that's just, I don't know. It's just it's where we want to be. You know, it's in our blood, I guess you could say. We both pretty much grew up in Idaho, and just that's kind of the lifestyle in the area and the region that we really want to be in long term. And so we're blessed to be able to pursue an opportunity in that direction. And yeah, so what does that have to do with making pukos? Well, it goes back to why I started making knives in the first place, and that's all about, you know, being out in the wilderness, using these tools with these primitive wilderness living skills, as I always used to call them, building stuff with your bare hands, using a nice, efficient, beautiful tool, you know, and the puko really kind of embodies that in a lot of ways for me. And so along those lines, I've been thinking of the perfect EDC little utility puko, and I've been thinking about it and kind of designing it in my head. And so I'm excited to make some of those, and I'll probably be doing that before too long. Kind of shivering a little bit. It's kind of chilly out here, and my elbow's stuck to the power hammer grease here. Probably should have picked a different spot, but anyway, just throwing a little teaser out there because I do tend to do at least like one good batch of pucos a year for the last several years, and excited about getting back up into the woods and the mountains and everything like that. Anyway, I guess I've rambled on long enough, and nothing else much to say, but we got projects coming, we got stuff happening. It doesn't always happen as fast as I want it to, but it's gonna happen. It's going. So as always, appreciate you guys watching the video and your support, and exciting stuff to come. And stay tuned for updates on all the new stuff that I just kind of mentioned a little bit ago. And I don't know what else to say, so appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you on the next video.